Sure, sure. So I was born and raised on the south side of Pueblo. Grew up kind of on off of Hollywood on Fairfield, and had from 1984 to 1988 went to South High School. Had a great experience here. Have some lifelong friends that I made while going to school here at South High School, and certainly the high school was instrumental in shaping kind of the direction I went as far as my career and educational aspirations. Yeah, I have some great memories here. I think we were just talking about how the Cannon games tonight, and that was always certainly a highlight when we were in high school, was going to those games, and the amount of preparation and hype that went into those games. And going to Dutch Clark Stadium was always a fun activity and a lot of fun to do. Uh, yeah, one of my favorite teachers when I went to high school here was Mr. Wormers. He was an electronics teacher. Yeah, and I really enjoyed having him, and I had some good friends in the class, and had him all 4 years while I was going to school here, because he taught kind of an intro and then a beginning and a middle and then a more advanced electronics class, and it was a lot of fun. He was a teacher that really understood how to relate to kids and also how to keep them engaged, and it was very hands-on type of class. So really enjoyed that class, and certainly had some other great teachers and some great experiences with the educators here, but that's one that stood out to me. Yeah, when I played football and basketball kind of my freshman and sophomore year. Then I started working, so I wasn't able to do as much sports, but I had some great experiences playing football and basketball those first couple of years. Sure, after I graduated from South High School, had an opportunity to go to Colorado State University in Fort Collins, and really was looking at going into engineering, and that was part of the class that I took here, was electrical components, electrical engineering, and was really thinking that was kind of the career path for me. And so I went into the engineering school up at Colorado State University, and after going, through that first year and getting a chance to shadow some engineers, I kind of started to see that that probably wasn't the right path for me. I was a desk job, didn't seem like you really ever got to do anything outside of setting. And I also had a chance to meet that year my wife for the first time, who was a Centennial High School graduate, same year, 1988. She was playing tennis up at Colorado State University, and we had some friends from Centennial that I had met at CSU. They introduced me to her. Her name's Georgina, and we had, kind of a chance to connect right off the bat. And I ended up coming back here to go to school, and she was going to school here at Colorado State University in Pueblo, and it was just an opportunity to switch to career paths. Uh, I was able to go to one of her mentors, John Galena, who was a teacher in the school district, and I had a chance to spend some time with him, and I really started to see that teaching was probably, and education was really a better fit for me for career. So I changed my major, went into education, and had an opportunity to get an elementary teaching license, and finished that up at Colorado State University here in Pueblo. And I got my first job teaching in Pueblo City schools. That's correct. Yeah, I had an opportunity to get hired at Carlisle Elementary, and a little school kind of over off of Abriendo, down from Abriendo, and it was a great little elementary school. I taught second grade was my first year, teaching. It was a Title I school, which means there's a lot of kids with a lot of needs. And I just really enjoyed and fell in love with teaching. So I taught there for a few years. Then I had a chance to move a little bit closer to where I lived over at Highland Park. And I was a fifth grade teacher at Highland Park. My wife also went into education, and so she started teaching at Beulah Heights, which is another Southside school here in Pueblo School District 60. And we both decided it was a great opportunity for us to get a master's degree, get a principal license. So we did that together, and I quickly fell in love with administration as well, and had an opportunity with one of my colleagues that I took the master's class with to go to his high school down in Walsenburg and be his assistant principal for a year. So I took advantage of that, and it was a great experience working at a high school. And after I finished that year, I had an opportunity to come back to Pueblo. There was an elementary principal position open, and I took that position at Beulah Heights Elementary, and became the principal there. And I worked at Beulah Heights for 5 years as the elementary principal. That's correct. I worked as kind of an executive director for a few years over all the elementary schools in Pueblo. And then I had a chance to be an assistant superintendent in Pueblo, kind of overseeing all the instructional programs. And so that was a lot of fun. My wife was also teaching in the school district. We had great memories, still some great friends that work in Pueblo City Schools, Pueblo School District 60. The name keeps kind of bouncing back and forth. But when I was in the district office here, had a real great experience to take an opportunity to go be the superintendent of schools down in Durango, Colorado. And so we decided to make that move. We moved our family down into the southwest corner of the state, and really just fell in love with Durango. Great community, great schools, had a lot of fun there. We stayed there a little over 3 years. And at that time, the Commissioner of Education in Colorado had just accepted his position as the commissioner, and he called me and asked me if I'd come up to Colorado Department of Education in Denver and be his deputy commissioner. And so my wife and I kind of thought about it. She had a lot of family that was living in Denver at the time, and so we decided to make that move. Yeah, so what I did when I worked for the Colorado Department of Education in Denver was I had an opportunity to oversee all the federal programs. So Title I, special education for the state. I had a chance to oversee all the accountability programs that the state was tasked with. And so we had a large responsibility to kind of get out to all the school districts in Colorado. And while I was at the state for about 4 years, I had a chance to get into about 140 of the 178 school districts in Colorado. So I was really all over the state of Colorado. I was traveling to small districts, really getting a chance to see large school districts, and just really seeing the power of public education in Colorado and how great our schools were at connecting with kids, really doing good things for children. It was a really wonderful experience. Loved every minute of it. Had a chance to really work with policy and our legislators in Denver around education law, and really making opportunities to help advance different initiatives that were going on at the state at the time. And so it was just really a lot of fun. I did have a chance to have one of my mentors in Pueblo, whose name's Henry Gonzalez. He had worked in the school district as well as an administrator, and then ended up going up to Fountain Fort Carson as a human resource director. He gave me a call about my fourth year when I was at the state. They told me that Fountain Fort Carson was going to have a superintendent opening, and asked me to think about it and really take a look at it. And we were looking to get back into a school district. My wife and I were, And so it was an opportunity for me to go talk to them about that position. Was fortunate enough to be selected for that position. And so the last 6 years I've been at Fountain Fort Carson School District as the superintendent, which is just an incredible school system. We serve a lot of military families. We're about 75% military connected as a school district. We've got 5 schools on Fort Carson, and it's just a great community, a great place where we really care for our kids. We're making great academic progress there and have a chance to really stay connected with a lot of administrators and teachers that are dedicated to our students. And so it's just a fantastic job. I love it. I love what I do there, and it's a fantastic school system. Yeah, we're about 9,000 kids. And so we've got, again, about 75% of those kids are military connected. Their parents serve or are contractors on Fort Carson. And it's just a really great community. A lot of mobility. We've got kids coming in and going all the time, coming from all over the world that get transitioned into Fort Carson. And a lot of our soldiers stay for a couple of years and then they transferred somewhere else in the world or in the U.S. But while those kids are with us, we really do our very best to help support them and protect them and give them a safe place to go to school every day.
How has being a teacher and a principal and breaking through the ranks helped you become a better superintendent?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. It's one that I valued all those experiences when I was a teacher, when I was a principal, because when I'm asking our staff to do things and when I'm trying to give them the support that they need to make the tough decisions, because teaching and being a principal in public education are really demanding jobs. They're very tough, a lot of work. You have to really have a passion for kids to do it well. And so understanding what they go through, understanding what a teacher goes through every day, understanding what a principal goes through every day, I think has really helped me be a better supporter of them. Because I look at my role as helping to support what goes on in our schools every day, giving them the resources, giving them the facilities that they need to be successful with kids. And so I really value those early experiences that I had. I think they've absolutely helped me become a better administrator over the years. Yeah, I think COVID really threw everybody for a loop and caused us all to kind of pivot and step back. One of the things that we're really proud of over the last couple of years is that we've served our kids in person. And so we found out what we needed to do as far as safety protocols. We knew what we needed to hire more nurses, more health professionals. And with that, we were able to really reinforce our ability to do face-to-face instruction on a daily basis. So last year, when a lot of school districts were closed around the state or where they were doing remote learning, we were in person teaching our kids at all of our schools. And so just super proud of that because I really felt like our kids needed to have connections with other kids. They needed to have connections with other adults. And you just lose something when you're doing that through remote learning. Public education, specifically our school district, our sweet spot is teaching kids in person. It's not doing remote learning. That's not what we're geared up for. Our teachers are meant to connect with kids, to see how they're doing, to check on them, to really engage with them every day. And so they were really, I think everybody was really struggling that short period of time in the spring when we had to do remote learning because it's not naturally what we do very well. We did the best we could with it, and I'm really proud of our staff, what they were able to accomplish. But we all know that for us, face-to-face education was our priority, and we've been doing that, and we've been doing it well for the last couple of years. And I hope with the vaccinations that have been available, with all the advances we've made with understanding this pandemic, that we're coming on the other side of this now and really getting our kids back to a much more normal experience. Yeah, so for us, I think it boiled down to what we learned early on when we had to go remote. When the state closed down, we had no choice. So when we were able to really work through last year and do in-person learning, we started to realize what's our priority, and our priority was teaching kids in person. So whatever we had to do to teach kids in person, that's kind of what we stacked ourselves up for. We certainly understood that masking helped for a while, and so we absolutely reinforced that. Cleaning protocols helped, distancing helped, but we understood that we were going to try to do everything we could to protect having our kids come into our buildings every day. And so with that as kind of the model of what we were going to accomplish, we've really rolled all of our resources around making that happen. And so for the last, like I said, year and a half, we've been in person teaching kids every day and not doing remote learning. And I feel like our kids have really got a much better experience because of that. That's correct. Yeah, that's yeah. Now that you say it like that, yeah, it's kind of sinking in. I think it's been over a year now that that announcement was made, and it was a real opportunity. And one of the things that I think focused on and really tried to reflect on when that happened was just what an opportunity to highlight our school district and highlight our staff, because really I'm a representation of my school district. I'm a representation of our staff in the school district, and they just do such high quality engagement of kids every day. They care so deeply for our students that it was an honor for me to carry that on behalf of the Fountain Fort Carson School District. Yeah, one of the things that I think my wife and I came to, and we're just a great team. Both have a lot of great experiences in Pueblo growing up. Like I said, she went to Centennial and I went to South High School, and we met after high school, which is always a Pueblo thing. You're always running into somebody outside when you're away from Pueblo that has a connection to Pueblo. And so one of the things that we both, I think, have been committed to our whole career and our whole life is just the value of public education and how it helps transform people's lives. It's really a ticket for kids to improve their situation. And I think we all understand in our environment growing up in Pueblo, there was a lot of kids that had a lot of needs. And I think that hasn't changed. But education is the ticket for a lot of these kids to make a difference in their life. It gives them an opportunity to do something different and maybe better than what they experienced when they were young. And so one of the values that we've both taken away is our dedication and commitment to public education. My wife's a teacher. She works for the Colorado Department of Education now. She stayed on when we were in Denver, and she helps support English learners all over the state of Colorado, and she also helps support Native American students in Colorado. And so we just, I think, both have a deep passion and commitment to that work. And we've never looked at our careers as actual jobs. We've just looked at them as what we do. And I think when you love what you do and you find a connection to it, work never really feels like work. Yeah, it's a good question. I would hope they would describe me as somebody that has high expectations. I believe in kids, and I believe that they can accomplish a lot of great things. And so I have high expectations for them. I have high expectations for their behavior. I have high expectations for them academically. And I would hope my staff felt the same way, that I'm somebody that has high expectations for them. I know that they can do great things for our kids. And I also believe that they have the power to help transform lives. And that's something, like I said earlier, that is our shared commitment when you work in public education, is this belief that you can help kids improve their lives. And I absolutely, at my core, believe that. And I do think that our teachers, our staff, are doing that for our kids on a daily basis. They're helping to transform lives, they're helping to change lives, and they're helping to improve lives. And that, when you're able to work in a profession like that, I've always felt like the education profession, you just meet the best people, people that have that shared value system, that shared commitment to kids. You just love being around people like that. And so I always have had a shared belief with our staff that we work together, we work hard together, and we do great things for kids together. And I think they would hopefully say something to that effect. Well, I appreciate that. But again, I look at my experiences in my career and what we've been able to accomplish as a it's a combination of a lot of people that have contributed to the success that we've had. And we wouldn't be successful without our teachers. We wouldn't be successful without our support staff, our bus drivers, our food service workers, our custodians that are cleaning our buildings. We have a team, and that team works together to make sure great things happen for kids. Yeah, I think when I had an opportunity to be a principal over here on the south side of Beulah Heights and had a chance to really have an impact on kids that were going to end up going to South High School, uh, it really was surreal in some ways because I knew that if we got these youngsters off to a good start at Beulah Heights, that they would have great success going to middle school and great success going to high school here. And the work we did with my teachers at Beulah Heights uh, really was phenomenal. I had teachers that were committed to kids, teachers that would do anything for our students, and some of those teachers are still teaching at Beulah Heights, and some have retired. But this core group of teachers just showed me the power of getting a collective vision and then acting on that vision and then working hard towards supporting kids. And this group of teachers would do anything for our students. And with that, we were able to start changing a culture that's focused on kids achieving more than they ever had. And the end result was Beulah Heights became a nationally distinguished Title I school. It received several honors from the President of the United States. Uh, we were leading the state, outperforming subgroups and outperforming populations when I was there, and it was all a result of these teachers and their commitment to public education. So I really felt like we raised a bar at Beulah Heights. I think we had an opportunity to make a difference in a lot of kids' lives. And from my understanding, I think that tradition and that commitment at Beulah Heights has continued. So it was just a really neat experience being able to work on the south side of Pueblo and work in this community and help support our kids being prepared to go to South High School. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had a chance. One of the things that hit me when I had a chance to spend a year as an assistant principal down in Walsenburg was talking to a lot of high school kids as they were getting ready to drop out. And they had to process where they had to clear through the assistant principal. Once they turned 16, 17, they could drop out of high school. And what really hurt me and hurt my heart was listening to these kids' stories about the struggles they'd had really from middle school on in school and how a lot of them couldn't read. They really couldn't read at any kind of level over a basic level. Uh, and so when I had a chance to go back and be an elementary principal, one of the first things I made a commitment to and really worked with my staff on was ensuring that all of our kids leave elementary school proficient readers. And we spent a lot of time and energy before school, after school, during school, trying to make that happen. And we went from a position of some of our reading scores at the state were 30% proficient, 40% proficient of our kids to 90% proficiency in a 3-4 year period. We had that kind of impact on kids' reading ability. And that was because our teachers understood the need. We gave them the specific training they needed to be successful. And then we had time. We gave ourselves the time to make that happen for kids. And so it was really powerful, but it helped me understand as a principal what you could accomplish. And that's why I really feel like at my schools now with the principals that I have, I understand what they can accomplish. And I also know what they can do with a staff that has that kind of culture. And so we really just encourage our principals to work with their staff, build culture, get them to that point where they can do anything for kids. And it's just so exciting when you get a school system moving that direction and you start to see the results of that. It's just powerful and it has an impact on a lot of students. Yeah, I think I maybe touched on this earlier, which is just take advantage of your educational opportunities. You know, take advantage of what's in front of you that's being offered at your school. Engage, push yourself to high levels, and then expect more of yourself when you leave too, and really try to further your educational experiences. Go to college, go to a junior college, go into a trade, but do something beyond high school that gives you an opportunity to really see what kind of person you can be, to help further yourself, to help further your educational experiences. There's so much out in this world, and there's so many opportunities, but education's the key to unlocking that. Education's the key to experiencing it. And if you take advantage of that, you really utilize the resources that are in front of you, you can do anything. And so I really believe in public education. I really believe in what we do for our students. And I really am excited when kids take advantage of the experiences and opportunities that are in front of them, and they maximize that and they go further themselves and they do much more than they ever thought they could. Oh yeah, that's funny because we're close. We still live close to Pueblo, and so we utilize a lot of the Pueblo restaurants. And we were just down at the chili festival, about a month ago. My wife and I were, and it's just a great experience. You know, some of the food that we're able to get here in Pueblo, and if you're not from Pueblo, I don't think you quite understand what it means. But yeah, so we love Pasky. We love Gray's Coors Tavern for sloppers. We used to go to the pantry quite a bit and get breakfast there. Their green chili is great. The Mill Stop is one of our favorites, and it's been really tough with them not being open except for carry out. But those are some great Pueblo places. That Cactus Flower, uh, we love those restaurants, and we really love some of the Mexican food that's available here in Pueblo. And it really, once you kind of experience it and live with it, it's really tough when you get away from it too. Yeah, I still think there's a real power in public education. And I think it's only becoming more and more important. And I think one of the things it does is it helps equalize our kids and give them opportunities to improve their situations. One of the things that I quickly found out and really believed here when I was a principal in Pueblo and when I taught here in Pueblo was that education let our kids have opportunities to do so much more than maybe that they had experienced up to that point in their life. Uh, I saw so many kids leave my school, go on and be successful in middle school, go on and be successful in high school, go to college, come back and then say hi. You know, come in and say what a experience our school helped transform their life, help them believe in themselves. And so I think that power of public education is going to continue to be there in the future. And I think we have to keep advocating for what that does for our communities, how it helps our students, and how it really helps change lives. And we have to hold ourselves up to a high standard. We should work extremely hard to make sure kids' needs are met. We should really try to keep away from doing things that take away resources from kids, take away experiences from kids. I believe in teachers. I believe in the power that they have to help change lives. And so I will continue to fight for investing in our kids, investing in our teachers, and investing in public education. It's something I'll do my entire career. Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate all the support of everyone, involved in making that decision. And it's a true honor to be accepted and to be reflected in the South High School alumni group. And so I appreciate that. Thank you.